Greetings all, Pop here in the shop today. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I replace the mainsprings in my Colt clone revolvers. I am not a gunsmith. There may be better or different ways to do this, and if anyone has tips or tricks, I encourage you to put them in the comments. I've been making, fixing, and breaking stuff all my life. I've worked on a lot of things much more complex than a single-action Army revolver. I took a shot at working on these and was pleased with the results. I've learned over time that knowledge and the right tools are important to getting any job done. So when I got into cowboy action shooting, I wanted to learn how these revolvers work. I found this great book, the Colt Single Action Revolvers Shop Manuals 1 and 2 by Jerry Kuhnhausen. I think I got my copy from Dixie Gun Works, but I see that it's also available from Amazon as well. This great book is annotated in a lighthearted manner and is an invaluable wealth of knowledge for single-action revolver enthusiasts. Another important aspect are having the right tools and parts. When I work on guns, I always use a gunsmith screwdriver set, such as the one seen here from Wheeler Engineering. I think I got mine from Midway USA. I found this listing at Cabela's to give you an idea of the cost. Also, I never work on a gun without a magnetic parts tray. I think I got this one free from Harbor Freight. There was a time that I would have cheerfully paid a lot of money for one if it had kept me from crawling on the floor with a flashlight to find lost parts. I always put a paper towel in the tray so I can gather all the parts up easily, and if I stop at the end of the day and I'm not done, I keep a Ziploc bag handy to store everything away until next time. One final thought. I'm not sponsored by any of the products you see in today's video. I just think that if something works right, I don't mind giving props. So at that, let's go ahead and install some springs. So these are my Cimarron Model Ps in 38-357 caliber. So these came from W.C. Wolff and Company in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. They're a very reliable company, make all kinds of gun springs. These are the 32329 precision gun spring kits, revolver shooter pack, reduced power with wire type sear bolt spring. These will fit the Uberti regulator and Cattleman series revolvers. These Cimarron revolvers are made by Uberti. Not sure what the difference is between a Pieta and an Uberti, but I didn't want to learn the hard way. So here is the spring kit. I'm only going to be using, in these guns, I'm only going to be using the mainspring. I had concerns about the quality of the mainspring in these guns because I had some rounds that didn't go off on the first hit. Feels like the spring may be getting light on it, and just didn't want to take a chance with being headed to end of trail. So got this new spring kit. I thought about just getting the mainspring. It was only a few bucks more just to get the whole kit, and I will use these wire sear springs that came with this in a different set of pistols that I have, which have the flat steel spring mainspring, or excuse me, sear springs in them. I found in comparing the two guns, the other pistols don't have quite of a crisp a trigger as these do with the wire sear springs. So I highly endorse the wire sear springs. Very smooth, crisp trigger pull with those. So what we're going to do here is going to make sure first off that we have the right size screwdriver bit. Take this down off half cock. And we're going to go through each of these screws, carefully loosening them. And placing these over in the magnetic parts tray. So off comes the grip frame. Set that aside. And here's our main objective. We're going to replace these mainsprings. I'm not going to throw these away because in case of emergency, if a spring breaks, I'd rather have a questionable spring in my kit than no spring at all if they break in the middle of a match. We're going to loosen this up. Now this is under tension. I don't know if we'll be able to flip this out of here from under the hammer. There we go. It's much better than unscrewing it completely under tension. So pop that out of there. Now you'll note here there's a little tab of leather under here, and that is an old-time trick supposedly that even without performance springs in here, just stock springs, put a piece of leather in there, and that helps to ease some of the spring tension. So I'm going to take the old spring, put it over here in the spare parts bag. So in that parts kit, I didn't say that here, in the parts kit there were replacement hand ejector springs. I'm good on that. I doubt if I'll ever need a replacement hand ejector spring. I think I did upgrade them when I got the set before. Then there's also the sear springs. There's also a base pin retainer spring. Here, my base pin retainer springs are fine. I'm not sure why anyone would need a performance spring in their base pin retainer. So, leave that piece of leather in there. We're going to open up the new spring here. I think what I'm trying to do is get this just started here, get a couple of turns on this so there's still play in that, and then flip it underneath of the hammer. There we go. There we go. Now with the right size again, the right size screwdriver bit, we'll just torque this down. Okay, and now had I been replacing that sear spring on this gun, then the trigger frame, the rest of this grip frame and the trigger guard would have come off. That would allow me access to this sear spring. There's just one screw in there that retains the sear spring. Now in reassembling this, you have 3 screws here. You'll notice that one of the screws is slightly shorter than the other 2. That goes here. These screws are the same size as the screws that hold the trigger guard on. The short screw goes here, the 2 longer screws go there to go through that meatier part of the trigger guard. So I'm going to start these screws in here. We're not going to screw them in all the way. place, everything's lined up, we can go ahead and torque these down. While I'm working on this and I have the right tools out, I'm going to go through all of these screws, make sure that none of them have come loose. It's surprising how often you'll find one that has come loose. Just, yeah, like this one. It was a full turn. And that hammer screw frequently works loose. That hammer screw frequently works loose. Let's see how it is. Yeah. A little torque on it. Let's check the trigger screw and the there we go. Okay. Okay. No leftover parts, that's always a good sign. Okay, thanks folks. Appreciate your watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate your support.